designed to be operated in a certain way. You don't mess about with that. In a sense, you're sort of flying the reactor blind, as it were, if you do things that your instrumentation is not designed to cope with. We pay the penalty.
The Broadcasting Standards Commission has upheld a complaint of unfairness on behalf of the late John Gorman QC about a BBC Two Rough Justice special entitled Judgment Day, broadcast on the 30th of July 1997. The programme followed a rough justice re-examination of the Carl Bridgewater case and the decision by the Court of Appeal to release the convicted men on bail pending a second appeal. It was a departure for Rough Justice in that it was a fly-on-the-wall programme, an observational record of the run-up to the successful appeal. The programme included discussion of the grounds of appeal and criticism of Mr Gorman's defence of Mr Pat Malloy, who had been convicted of manslaughter at the trial in 1979. The Commission did not consider that the programme erred in allowing the appellant's lawyers, who were preparing the grounds for the second appeal, to express criticism of the way the case had been handled in the past. It acknowledged that the views expressed were, and remain, the position of that team, and that they were central to the proposed grounds of appeal. However, given the serious nature of the criticism, the Commission considered that the BBC should have recognised the limitations of relying on a fly-on-the-wall programme for matters of this sensitivity, which, in this case, affected the professional reputation of a named individual. The process of negotiating the grounds of appeal was an important element within the programme. However, the Commission considered that the brief commentary oversimplified tactical considerations on both sides. The Commission found that unfairness arose from the BBC's reliance on the argument that as this was an observational documentary presenting reasonably held views, there was no need for any balancing points at all to be provided. The Commission considers that, in the particular circumstances of this highly sensitive matter, the programme's commentary should have acknowledged the complexity of the case and the difficulties facing Mr Gorman in 1979, before the forensic evidence, which was crucial to the success of the second appeal, was available. Accordingly, the complaint was upheld. A full copy of the adjudication can be obtained by sending a stamped addressed envelope to the Broadcasting Standards Commission, 7 The Sanctuary, London SW1P 3JS. A copy of the summary is available on the Commission's website at www.bsc.org.uk.
One series will blow you out of this world. The Planet's Impact Day, Thursday 29th of April, BBC Two.
Ground Force are into racetrack construction this week, on a small scale of course. That's over on BBC One. BBC Two has the latest from the world snooker. All the action from day 3, introduced by David Vine.
Yes, a familiar face versus a relatively new one, but what a good new one. Good evening, Peter Ebdon and Matthew Stevens. That's the feature match here tonight in the first of our regular peak time evening snooker programs, which I hope you're going to enjoy all the way through this year's Embassy World Championship. Snooker all the way now here until 10:30. It's day 3. This is how it's looking so far. Defending champion John Higgins through. He plays either Mark King or Darren Morgan. That's starting tonight. I'll keep you in touch with it. Still to start, Stephen Lee and qualifier John Lardner against either Alan McManus or Jimmy White. A big match on Wednesday. Mark Williams against Ian McCulloch tomorrow. Alan Robidoux is gone. Nick Walker's beaten him. More about it later. Nigel Bond is through to play Ken Doherty, who won today over Steve James. O'Sullivan and Fernandez to start, as is Steve Davis and Joe Perry. He's back again. Hamilton has gone the seed, beaten by Chris Small, who now plays John Parrott, the former champion, who's beaten Terry Murphy. Peter Ebdon at 3-6 against Stevens, going to it in a second to play Tony Drago, who's beaten the Open champion O'Brien 10-4. James Watanabe in the all-Eastern battle, 5-4 up against Marco Fu. They play to a finish tomorrow morning, and starting tomorrow night, Stephen Hendry against Paul Hunter. What a tough one that's going to be. So, as I say, it's Peter Ebdon and Matthew Stevens coming right up. Let's have a quick check on the two players. Peter Ebdon is 8th time here at the Crucible. His great year at 96 when he was runner-up. He's 7 in the world, but dropping, and he hasn't had that good a season. As for Matthew Stevens from Carmarthen, he was here last year. It was a big story when he made the quarterfinals. This season, runner-up in the United Kingdom Championship, and on the way, he beat Tony Drago, Mark Williams, and Dave Harold. Peter Ebdon knew he had a very tough opener when he was drawn against one of the best young players in the game, the Welsh 21-year-old. Stevens was into his stride from the off, taking the first 2 frames. A respotted black in the third gave Ebdon a chance to open his account. But a nervy miss put Stevens 3-0 up. Frame 4 and a clearance of 120 meant 4-0. Ebdon bemused.